This?
Y'all ready for this? It's the entire note, the same note the entire time.
that was pretty good timing.
Well,
pretty good
I
timing.
don't know who's ready to hear about some Transformers, but that's what we just fucking saw. I keep calling it Transformers 4, but it's Transformers Age of Extinction.
More like Transformers.
They could have done that.
I
I'm
am
surprised they didn't.
Going to kill myself.
So, we just watched a 3-hour movie. Brady didn't.
Loser.
But, yeah. Fucking worthless! Anyway.
I'm worthless?
No. Anywho.
Let me tell you about my worth.
The movie opened with snails. Snail ships floating above Earth. Prehistoric Earth snail ships. They're some creators of the Autobots just to get ahead of that. That's what's going on. And they start dropping bombs that start metalifying everything, right? And like dinosaurs are running away from it. And that's how the movie opens. And also, this time I noticed there was not an Optimus Prime narration. You know what I'm talking about. In a time before time. Right? Because we remember that in every movie. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You know what I remember?
What do you remember?
Being on stage, fucking Compton, 1986. Me dropping this rhyme, tearing that shit up. That's what I remember.
So, in case you guys haven't figured out, this is going to be pretty spoiler heavy, because I'm basically just going to do a synopsis of the whole 3-hour movie.
It's gonna be like 2-month-old milk.
Spoiled.
Don't drink the milk,
So-
it's gone bad.
So after that, the movie opens at, where was that? The Arctic? It was in a frozen area. Oh yeah, it was the Arctic, not to be confused with the Arctic, North Carolina. Because it's like, the Arctic. Thanks for that. And like, they find like, metal fossilized dinosaur bones?
That's not how that works.
That's not how, well, it is because the aliens dropped metification bombs on dinosaurs. So it like burnt off their skin, and all that was left was the bones.
So basically, they're all running around as if they were Wolverine.
No,
Got
they're
Adamantium
dead.
skeleton.
dead.
They're
They're
dead.
dead.
Their flesh burnt away, and their bones were coated in metal. So that's what like this scientist found. She's like, oh shit, and some Native American dude like pointed a gun at her.
Shotgun.
Yeah, it's like she's like, "You gonna shoot me?" Dude, I like. It seemed like it was his job. I don't know why he didn't. It was like
He was
that's
there.
what he was good. That was what he was literally supposed to do, and he just didn't do it. But
Was it like a tense, excuse me, a tense standoff for about 5 seconds? And
No.
then he lowered his shotgun. He's like,
No, she just
It's
kept
over.
no, yeah, it was like a second of like I walked by. What, are you gonna shoot me? And he's just like pointing the gun at her, and this other dude's like, "Don't shoot her." He's just like, "Okay, even though it's my job to shoot her."
so basically that had no bearing on anything.
Had no bearing. It was pointless tension that wasn't tension.
Way to go, Michael Bay, you dumb piece of shit. Not even, 3 minutes into the movie?
Not even minutes in the movie.
God, I hate Michael Bay so much. I hope
Well,
that dude dies in a
whoa.
fucking explosion.
Well, I
Whoa.
hope you're ready for this movie review. So,
That's when the speed thing comes in. It's like spirals in, shows you the name. Like how Batman spins in there.
I get what you're saying. Now. I get what you're saying. Old school Batman. Anyway,
Oh!
Brady had this look on his face. He didn't know what he was talking about. I can tell this is going to be a long ass podcast. So anyway, then the whole scenery changes, and we're in Texas, right?
Senorita.
Not to be confused with the other Texas, because it says Texas in the corner, right?
Does it say Texas or Tejas?
I believe it says Texas. Anyway, and it's our main character.
Sam Witwicky.
No.
Shia LaBeouf.
Marky Mark, bro.
Oh, fuck.
It's Mark Wahlberg. And like he goes to a movie theater, right? And he's buying like junk out of the movie theater. And there's a comedian there who's his like partner in his job. And this I forget what's that comedian's name. Does anyone know?
The guy.
Dane Cook.
No.
Wait, was he funny?
No.
He has been funny. He wasn't funny on the show. He wasn't funny in the movie, but I've seen him be funny before. But he also kind of has this like dark sense of humor. Like you look at
Kevin
like
James. Oh wait, he's never been funny.
I don't know who it is.
This is irrelevant.
Is it relevant? Relevant. It's some comedian dude.
Larry the Cable Guy.
No. And he has like a surfboard on his car, and he lives in Texas.
I hate that guy.
Yeah,
When
like
he drives a Mini Cooper.
yeah, he drives Mini Cooper
I
with a
really,
surfboard.
really hate that guy.
So he's set up. He's set up to be like, you know, that's the comic relief sidekick guy. So anywho, they go into this movie theater that's closing down, and they're buying like all this ancient like movie stuff, like you know, really old film cameras or projectors that are, you know, they look appropriate. So while they're screwing around in this movie theater, they find a semi truck in the movie theater, and nobody knows how it got there.
Just there chilling.
And it looks like it's like there. It's been
wait,
there.
is the paint
since
job
40s.
red and blue?
No, the
Oh.
paint job is rust and shit, and it just looks fucked up. It looks like
Is
it's
it Optimus Prime?
Yes.
Fuck.
It's
But-
it's
it-
classic Optimus Prime.
No, it's not classic. It's degraded. Like it looks like he's been there for like 79 years.
Like it's the first,
it has like holes in it and shit.
79 is oddly specific.
It's
Well,
because that's when the movie theater was.
It was
closing
the
down.
first. It was
Like
Optimus-
it looks. It doesn't look out of place, and
It's-
it has like holes, like bullet holes in it.
It's like it's his original design, like the box.
They're more like blocky, like a semi look.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's that old school. design.
Super aerodynamic.
Yeah.
So
Have you seen old Lincolns? They didn't give a shit about aerodynamics.
so like Mark Wahlberg decides, hey, I'm gonna buy this, cause
Do the trees attack?
no. So Mark Wahlberg buys this truck, and he takes it home.
This seems like a really bad investment.
Well, he's a robotic inventor, and he also like he basically is a tinkerer, and he just has like a barn full of like robots and shit that he makes, and he has like a bunch of spare parts, and like he has like in front of his house there's like a donation bin where you have your fucking VCR breaks that you shouldn't even have anymore because Betamax is superior anyway, and you just throw it in there because no one's gonna fix it, so he just takes it and he repurposes it for whatever.
And then he gives it back and they pay him apparently.
I didn't catch that, but
That's weird.
he sells the stuff. So he's like there's $150 for this broken down semi, like it's worth that and scrap alone, and I can like actually sell off the parts and shit. And his daughter who
He's
is
smoking hot. Oh my god.
Captain Carruthers is here.
Smoking
Everyone.
I can't get over the fact that she was in the last Airbender, so I'm like she's forever not hot to me.
She is gorgeous.
Who is it?
I don't know.
It's the look up that comedian. But anyway, it's the actress who played
Comedian.
Katara in the last Airbender by M. Night Shyamalan.
But she's got legs for days.
Mm.
So yeah, and like there's a whole subplot. She was going to college, and Mark Wahlberg had her when he was like 18 and shit, and
And their mom's dead.
yeah, her mom's dead,
That's
but
funny.
she's like the daughter's
Oh my god.
the daughter quotation marks is like more adult than Mark Wahlberg is, and I don't know about I don't know about any of this
Whoa.
shit. Yeah,
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. Anyway,
Is that her?
Dude, yes? I don't. Yeah. Yeah.
Did you
Yeah.
play
let me
Katara?
look at her. Let me look at this person.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's her.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That's they're pretty generous.
Generous? Pat me to who?
Genuine. Anyway, so yeah, there's pictures that she's been done up pretty well. So he's like, oh, and like basically like there's a bunch of bills, and he's not very responsible, and he's gonna lose the house, and he chases off a black woman with a baseball bat on his property.
Wasn't he called? He called her the purple.
The purple man
People
eater.
eater, yeah.
Purple people eater.
The purple
People
people
eater.
eater. Like that joke, I guess, was apparent because apparently she always wore purple
And it's something back in 2000s, 2003. That was a thing.
What?
Purple people.
God.
Either.
I've never heard of
It
it.
was for
Sex
that.
with her.
It was that computer
Yeah, me
game.
too.
Like if you ever got on the computer, there's like a math game, and there's
There's
like the purple people eater for the math
Gorgeous.
game, and like they kill you if you
I-
get the math problem.
Okay,
wrong.
okay. This
Alright,
was
that's
that
enough.
was not what it was a reference
Oh,
to
was
at
it?
all.
else?
But
Yeah.
okay. Well,
So anyway, Mark Wahlberg throws the bat at her car and chases her away and shit. So he starts working on the truck.
So he doesn't want her and his funky bunch.
Exactly, exactly. So he starts working on the truck, and like lo and behold, he figures out that it's a goddamn transformer.
there's like bullet shells. Inside
There's
of it.
also like I
Oh.
think in this part of the movie there was a transition to where like there's a bunch of like military dudes hunting Autobots, which is like weird, right? And it's like, oh, the Autobots or Alliance isn't anymore, but they're not supposed to be hunting Autobots, and they're hunting Ratchet on a boat, and for some reason Michael Bay had to do his obligatory I'm gonna kill one of the good guys because movies have that right. One of the good guys has to die, so they decided Ratchet, one of the first characters they're introduced, has to die
From the start.
Yeah, it was fucking bullshit. It was fucking bullshit. It was just like what happened to Ironhide in the third movie. It's like, oh, you just had to kill him off, eh? Well, all right. Like it's totally didn't need to happen.
Only Autobot that died. Only one.
No. There was recording of another one dying, which you could have done that. Could have been that guy. No one knows who that guy. I mean, I remember who that guy was by his look, but I didn't know his name.
Yeah.
Anyway, and so yeah, this really crazy ass like transformer comes out of the water, and he's working with the humans, and he rips Ratchet's spark out, and it's like I instantly hate him. Maybe just because it's like there was a pointless death in there that didn't even need to be happen to convey the story, and also because that guy's a fucking dick. And this Transformer isn't a Decepticon, and I don't know what he is, but his face is a little too human.
Yeah.
Like there was
He
something
was
weird
fucking
about it.
Reaper.
And he also like his face changes into a giant sniper rifle.
Mm-hmm. Big old cannon.
Let's go back to the hot daughter.
So anyway, back to the hot daughter. Mark Wahlberg figures out that it's that Optimus Prime is a Transformer, and he goes and he's talking to he's like, oh, I gotta show you guys this. So he shows the comedian dude and his daughter. I'm gonna call her Cora from now on, just because that's how I know her. So he takes Cora in there, and not Cora, Katara. Yeah, that one. K names. Anyway. Takes them in there, and it's like, oh, it's a Transformer. And they start freaking out because it's a Transformer, because they don't know it's an Autobot and shit. And like he starts trying to fix it and shit, and like
A missile comes out of
yeah,
it.
a missile comes out. Like they basically pry a missile out of Optimus Prime's like chassis, and it shoots out of the barn and doesn't explode, and like flies into the house and like just sits in the house and
Doesn't explode.
doesn't explode. So there's supposed to be some kind of reward for turning in like Transformers.
$25,000.
Yeah, and so the fucking comedian guy does that, and like Mark Wahlberg ends up fixing Optimus Prime. He's like, "What happened, Optimus?" Like he doesn't know his name, obviously, but he's like, "I was attacked by humans." That was a pretty good Optimus
Yeah,
Prime.
that was pretty good.
Yeah, that was a pretty good one. He's like, and so he basically describes his plight. He's like, I must warn the other Autobots, and so just about then, all these fucking like CIA agents show up in helicopters and stuff, and yeah, all hell breaks loose, and they're like, Optimus is hiding beneath the barn, and like Mark Wahlberg ends up with like a gun against his head, and they're gonna shoot his daughter. They're gonna shoot Katara,
I almost cried.
Damn.
and like Optimus can hear everything, and he's just like,
Nope.
nope. So he just bursts out of the floor, kills a dude. I mean, he said he didn't kill dudes, but those dudes were dead.
Yeah.
Like the dude was standing on the floor, but like above him, and he just explodes through it. That guy's dead. Throws two other guys through the barn. They're dead. He just comes out and he just starts shooting shit.
He
like,
shoots a guy. Like,
yeah. You definitely see the guy go "Ah!" like flip in the air and like laying on the ground. That dude's dead. So yeah,
Man, it's like Batman.
he's making like an opening for Mark Wahlberg and Katara and the comedian dude to escape. And you see this car drive up over the hill, and you're like, oh, what Autobot's that, because
You don't
I'm
see the
wait
driver.
no. Let me just say this: there was not a driver in the car when it drove up over the hill. There is literally not a driver in the car. So all of a sudden, the car, like they're running through the field to get away from shit, and like their house explodes. I forget why. There's a helicopter.
Because it's a Michael Bay movie.
No, there was a helicopter in this, right? There's a
Yeah, there's a
helicopter shooting out of
helicopter.
them. I'm pretty sure.
Starscream?
No, it's a
No,
normal
it's just a
helicopter. There's just a
normal-
bunch of dudes.
Just
There's
a
a bunch
dude.
of-
Jet, anyways.
And like, there's also like that transformer I mentioned, the bounty hunter transformer who's shooting at him. So I think he shot the missiles that destroyed
Boba Jet.
the thing. So yeah, he shows up and everyone's running. So they're running through this field. And they're being chased by these, armed dudes. And all of a sudden, that car that I mentioned comes up over the hill, and like both tires hit two guys in slow mo,
In the face.
and they're dead, right?
Face.
With the wheel, like, neck breaks, dead.
Yeah. Those guys
Dead.
they had to be dead. And the car crashes, lands, and skids, and like it's a dude. He's like, "Get in!" And he gets in. I'm like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" Turns out it's Katara's boyfriend.
Yeah, they've been
So-
banging behind Marky Mark's back.
Yeah, so Katara's boyfriend shows up and gets them away, and it's a huge chase scene through the town, and like the humans are chasing Mark Wahlberg and his crew, and like the bodyguard, the fucking
So basically,
the bad
it's like-
transformer is chasing Optimus Prime, and it's
so it's
basically this whole big
basically
thing to get away.
when Marky Mark was young.
It was basically small town Texas when Marky Mark was like 38. Anyway, so
Wait. You said that the humans were chasing Marky Mark and his crew.
Mm-hmm.
I automatically assume that a drug deal has gone wrong and Marky Mark is running.
anyway, so
No, just not even entertaining my bullshit.
So, like-
Okay, so.
they end up okay. They're driving up an abandoned parking garage, I think. It's not very clear what it is.
It's just there.
And it's like the dialogue between the boyfriend and Katara is that they have done something before and they're going to do it again, was the impression that I got. And you're like, well, what are they going to do? Let me tell you what they're going to fucking do.
The car's
They're going
transforming.
to they're going to Duke of Hazzard it out of the 6th floor of this building on 2 ramps that are sitting there out onto a skateboard ramp that is placed there, as if this is something they have done before. This is literally not something anyone's ever done before in this place. So they're for doing it like it's something we do it. I know how to do
We
it.
just do this every now and then.
So
We
of course,
we know this, right?
of course they land and it fucks up the car like it should, but still it was like, why?
all the other crazy shit they did not fuck up the car, but this did.
Well, that
Huh.
should have fucked up the car. That was the most thing that should have fucked up the car, and it did. So they're like trying to escape, and like above them is like the Optimus fighting the bounty hunter transformer, and like as they're running away, he drops some kind of weird grenade that like, that scene where they're running. You've seen it in the trailer where like there's plumes of fire shooting up next to him. Well, they edited, like, the way that was edited in the trailer was different. So in this, there's, like, those are still there, but there's also, like, this crazy stuff spreading on the ground. And the comedian guy gets stuck in it. This dude that you were like, oh my god, I'm gonna have to deal with this character the whole fucking time. Gets caught in it, dead.
Mhm.
Fucking dead.
He
Like,
turns into the dinosaurs.
like, he just, like, all his skin explodes off, and he just is, like, turned into metal. And that dude's dead. And I was like, I don't know if that's good or bad, because I didn't want to deal with his bullshit the whole rest of this movie.
But he's dead.
Yeah, he's dead. And,
I tend to not like comedians.
well, he died. So anyway, and like Optimus Prime gets him out of there, and like they stay the night at a gas station, and then the boyfriend's accent changed for no reason.
Yeah, all of a sudden he's Irish.
Yeah, like literally, he did not sound Irish until that point. And Mark Wahlberg is being like a 1930s racist against Irish guy. He's like, Lucky Charms over here, because he's super
Yes.
protective against his daughter.
Pretty fucking ridiculous.
And so yeah, Optimus Prime.
Marky
like,
Mark is Irish.
not in the movie. Mark Wahlberg isn't the character in the movie.
What? Next thing you're gonna tell me is that Sean Connery isn't actually James Bond.
No, that's true. So anyway.
There we go.
So yeah, they end up like meeting up with Transformers in the desert, and oh yeah, Mark
Sounds
Wahlberg.
awful.
Mark Wahlberg like stole a drone that was
From
like
Amazon?
no from the people who were following them or whatever, right?
God, Marky Mark. I thought you got away from that life of crime.
Well, and then he like somehow knows how it works. So I mean, I guess
Because
since
he's an adventurer.
since he's a scientist of some kind,
Tinkerer.
yeah, he doesn't have to have any kind of title. He just has to be able to do something. There you go. So he finds all this footage of Ratchet dying and like the red dude dying, and yeah, then he knows that humans are hunting Autobots and all this stuff, right? So, God, there's so much to this movie. This is like the first half an hour of this movie was this.
It's a long
Jesus
movie.
Christ.
It
Can
is-
can I guess something since I didn't see it?
Go ahead, Brent.
He's thinking about turning him in for the reward money to send his daughter to college.
No.
No.
Okay.
That already happened. That plot point where someone tried to turn them in already happened. That's why the
Oh.
CIA
He
dudes
died
did it.
for it.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, he wouldn't have even gotten that far at my fucking house. I would have been like, you're staying fucking here, and pushing him on the goddamn ground. Like, my daughter had a gun to her head because of you, motherfucker. Like, he just forgot about that. Like, oh my god. Anyway,
Oh my god.
Plot
so
spoiler. Marky Mark is in fact a Transformer. And sent out that shit to kill the comedian dude. In retribution.
anyway,
Transformers 5, The Revenge of Marky Mark.
so then they so they know all this shit, and they're finding stuff out because Mark Wahlberg had stolen this drone. They know who's like kind of after them. So they go and they talk to these Autobots, and so there are a bunch of fucking random Autobots that you've never seen before.
One's a samurai.
That's
One-
fucking cool.
No, it's not, because it is the most racist thing ever. It's not like he just looks like a samurai, which I immediately thought like, oh, that's pretty cool. He looks like a samurai. And he's like,
He has the whole.
what's that? What like he had a very offensive accent.
Yeah.
Well, like
Like-
there's no reason he'd have that.
Like words weren't like in the right order, like how.
broken English
Yeah,
is.
broken English.
And his accent is just like,
Oh,
thank you. Like there's like lots of extra
like
in there.
like Jackie Chan Adventures. Oh.
Yeah, it sounds like that. It
Oh.
sounds like that.
So they're going for like stereotypical Japanese or
Chinese.
Chinese, I
Chinese.
believe, yeah. And I'm like, did you not learn anything from Transformers 2?
Yeah.
People didn't like that.
yeah.
And
that
here
was
you are
fucked up.
with this guy. It was okay that he looked like a samurai until you made him sound like a fucking stereotype, you motherfuckers. And, Roseanne's husband's there, and,
John Goodman.
yeah, John Goodman is a Transformer, and he's pretty badass.
No shit.
I actually really liked him.
He's got a beard and he smokes a robot cigar.
Fuck!
For
You're
real.
kidding.
No.
Oh my god, I think I just had an ejaculation happen.
And apparently B has been in charge since Optimus has been gone, and they don't like it. And
You
like,
can't fucking.
these are
talk.
you know how the Autobots were? This is not those Autobots. This is like the fucking rogue Autobots kind of at this point. Like they're not very like respectable, it seems like. Like there's a lot of infighting and shit, and what even happens next in that movie, Biafra?
Fuck.
So they decide I think they decide they need to go to Chicago, where this place is, where the
Why would
company
you-
the company is that's like manufacturing like they're taking all of the destroyed Autobot parts. And have you ever seen The Devil Wears Prada? Not the band, the movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
You know the higher up like gay guy that has glasses and is bald?
Stanley Tucci.
Yeah, Stanley Tucci is the head of this company, and I kid you not, he's the same character, only straight. Like I thought that I was just like, he's just that character from Devil Wears Prada, only straight. I didn't even know he was straight until like he started saying degrading remarks to degrading to remarks to women, and I was like, oh, he's straight. I get it. He treats women like crap. He's obviously straight. Thanks for. I feel like that was in there literally just to tell you that he was straight.
I connected with him.
He does. I will give this character this. He had development.
I liked his character.
I fucking wanted him to die for the first 20 minutes he existed, and then he started like getting better.
Because Marky Mark had a heart-to-heart with him.
And they literally go.
Damn.
They literally go to this.
Like that? Yeah.
Like, so there's like all this dramatic sneaking in shit, and like I'm just gonna cut to the chase. They went there and they destroyed the lab, and that's all they did. Like that was really like I don't even know why they were there besides this plot point of that they needed to go there, destroy the lab for this to stop this research, I guess. And like they'd already figured it out. They already cracked the codes to make Transformers. Oh yeah, and they're making Galvatron. You know,
Galvatron.
You know,
Yeah.
Galvatron is Megatron, basically, right? In the old cartoon, Galvatron is just another incarnation of Megatron.
He kept dying and he's coming back.
Well, in some series of Transformers, Galvatron is just Megatron.
Yeah.
And he was not Megatron before. So anyway, they're making him and they're like, we call him Galvatron. And like Stanley Tucci is like, why does he look like Megatron? I want him to look like Optimus. Well, guess what? Because he is Megatron. He's gonna be Megatron. And
More like Negatron, because he's so negative all the time.
So anyway,
I hope the people didn't mishear that in retrospect.
so
That's racist.
I think like at that point, people showed up and they were chasing him and shit. Right? That's what happened. Like, there's so much of this movie that I like kind of forgot what happened after that.
Like,
it was a pretty dramatic, like, intense plot point, and you find out that Frasier is like the guy in the government that's like trying to that's controlling this, and he wants to create an army of human-made Autobots that they can control. That's basically what the plan is.
So the gist of the story is that humans can't see anything without trying to weaponize it?
Yeah, they kind of don't see, like, these particular humans don't see Autobots as living things.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a part of it. And,
Living or sentient?
I'm gonna say living.
tough to
Gotta
say
be
what
careful.
tough to say what they think about that.
Yeah.
I can't speak for them, but it's definitely like they weren't treating them like people.
Yeah, because there was the one part with the archaeologist lady. She was like, "Oh, talking about how that she just
Oh
sees them
yeah,
as
yeah.
metal."
Like most of the people who are working on this don't know that the Autobots are being killed to be scavenged for this metal and shit. Like she's like, oh, it's a Decepticon that was like, and like Mark Wahlberg goes, no, it's not. Yeah, Mark Wahlberg is like talking to that. It's the scientist lady from the beginning of the movie. So,
Who should have been shot?
not technically. I liked her character. She's fine. But so where was I in this movie?
metal, Mark Wahlberg.
Oh yeah, Galvatron. And so like then I think there's like a whole big chase scene and shit. And oh yeah, they were like escaping from the facility, and they send Galvatron after Optimus, and that's when Optimus figures out that Galvatron is Megatron, and like because they're controlling Galvatron, but there's like a part of him that they're not controlling. So they're like, oh fuck, and like we know what he's trying to do. So at that point, they capture Optimus because of course they did.
Because of the one.
Well, the human, yeah. So the humans, okay. Frasier is in league with the Transformer bounty hunter, right, to capture Optimus.
Right. Who's played by Ted Danson?
No,
Oh, okay, never mind then.
Optimus is played by the guy that's always played Optimus. So anyway, like so So yeah, there's this big battle and shit, and like for some reason, like all the other Autobots except for B disappear, but B isn't in the battle, and then Optimus gets captured, and like they all embark on this rescue plan to like get him back. So they sneak onto the ship in Chicago because the deal was if the U.S. government, aka Frazier, delivers Optimus Prime to the Transformer bounty hunter, that they're gonna like give him this seed, and it's one. Okay, the seed is one of the bombs from the beginning of the movie that just like makes this metal out of organic material, right? So their plan was like to release it in the Gobi Desert or something, so it doesn't kill anybody, but they get all the metal from it, and they figure out that the plan was. I don't know. They go and they save Optimus, right? And it's like a huge, like, crazy ordeal where they jump onto the ship in Chicago because the ship comes to make the transaction. So they get the bad humans get the seed, and Mark Wahlberg and the boyfriend jump on there, and so do all the Transformers because the daughter's also captured too. So then there's a huge scene of all that crazy ass shit happening, and they basically like take the saucer section of that ship and escape, and like the other Transformers, like the bounty hunter Transformers, don't know that happens. Like there's no mechanisms. I've been glossing over some of the technicalities that are wrong with this. Like, one, there's huge continuity errors in time of day, like a lot.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden it's afternoon, then it's back to like morning, and like stuff like that. Like that happened a lot in the beginning of the movie, and now I'm like. So you're telling me that this sophisticated alien craft doesn't have sensors to detect Autobots and humans boarding their ship?
Or
and
when
then,
things are detaching?
Yeah, or like they didn't know that, and they just initiated their like dark matter drives. It's like, hey, they also ripped off Futurama there. They also ripped off Ridley Scott in the beginning because the opening Transformers was like aliens because it turned into, you know what I mean. Anyway, so their next plan was to like get the seed, and like Optimus is like, we're done with you humans, and it's like, well, what? Like, you know, and but then they go to Beijing to get that seed because it's just gonna kill a bunch of people. I think I skipped a lot here. Anyway,
Mark Wahlberg has a gunblade.
Oh yeah, in this story in this part with the ship,
Gunblade.
that he finds like a Transformer weapon, and it's like a gun, so it looks like a sword.
So it's the gunblade.
Yeah, it's a gunblade. And it's like he is able to one shot like Transformers with it. Like,
Damn.
you know how all the Transformer battles they're like missiles firing, like they're not killing each other.
Yeah.
Mark Wahlberg is here like sniping them in the head
With
and shit.
one of their own weapons.
Damn.
Yeah. So anyway, he's doing a pretty good job with that. Pretty nice weapon to have.
Tiny.
To go to Beijing, man, the movie took forever in Beijing. I felt like a lot of shit happened.
Things happen.
Oh yeah, wait. Fucking Mark Wahlberg calls the dude who's in charge of that company up to tell him, he's like, hey, you know Galvatron's gonna like, you're doing what he wants, because since they figure out it's Galvatron, they're like, Galvatron's Megatron, they're like, Megatron's just gonna take that seed and blow up a human city, and then create an army out of all of the material there. So what they do then is they plant the seed of doubt in his head. So that's where his character starts developing. Frazier's like, oh, we did it, and he's like looking at all this stuff, and he's like, I don't know about this. I don't know about this. He ends up like jacking the seed and stuff, and he tries to escape, and so Frazier sends the CIA after him, and in that chase the Autobots finally show up, and then their ship gets shot down, and
One shot.
John Goodman and Bumblebee are like defending Mark Wahlberg and all the human people, because Galvatron wakes up and takes control of all 50 Transformers that the humans have made. So now he has like a platoon of Transformers. And of course, Okay.
Jesus fucking
Okay,
Christ.
okay. Let me tell you something about this.
Oh my god.
This is the same problem from the first fucking movie. Why are all these Transformers mad? What do they got to be mad about? Like, in the first Transformers, it's not like Galvatron could hack these sentient beings. They're not actually robots. Why are they bad? Why? Just because Galvatron's like, rise, brothers, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna listen to him. Doesn't make any fucking sense. So, basically, all these huge ass, like, that's what John Goodman and B are protecting Mark Wahlberg from this whole time, is they're trying to escape the city with the bomb. By this point, they just start calling it a bomb. Because it has, like, as much power, it has
Right.
power to take off a city. So, they're trying to escape through, like, the crowded Chinese, like, Beijing streets, and like eventually
Should've gone to Shanghai. That's the biggest city in China.
it was Hong Kong.
Yeah.
They were in Hong Kong.
Oh.
I keep they were in Beijing first, and then they went to Hong Kong.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was jumping all over the place in this movie.
It was the only time like where they were was.
How they get to Hong Kong, or like how they get into China to begin with?
Who? Which ones?
The humans.
They went with the Autobots,
To the giant space alien ship thing.
Gotcha.
and for some reason Mark Wahlberg took his daughter. I forget why,
He just
but
does
they
things.
did. Although the cops were showing up where they were anyway. Whatever. It doesn't fucking matter. So like Katara, Mark Wahlberg, Stanley Tucci, and that scientist lady are all there with B and John Goodman. And they're basically B and John Goodman are like holding off like fucking like a platoon of enemy Transformers. And like they're doing pretty good for a long time, but they're like running out. Like John Goodman's like, I'm running out of ammo, but he's still he's taking them down. And you're like, this is the only tension I felt in this movie. I was like, no, John Goodman, you can do it. Don't die, because I am so sick of seeing like Autobots die for basically no reason. So
But
I'm like,
Tom, it creates tension and plot.
this was the only time I felt that though, and like all the other pointless ones that had happened, I was like, not this time, not this one. You have a cool one, and he's actually doing a good job. Fuck, he needs to still be in this fight, and like, yeah, Mark Wahlberg was shooting shit too. So the other Transformers aboard that ship had crash landed, right? It was a prison ship. So Optimus Prime goes and lets loose the inmates. The inmates don't speak the language, but he can speak the language, and he basically challenges them to a duel to fight with them. But he's like, you'll have your freedom after this. So
it's like when Aragorn goes into the
I'll be back tomorrow.
it's when Aragorn does what and the what now?
it's when Aragorn goes and talks to the King of the Dead. in
Sort of.
Two Towers.
Sort of. Only in this version, the robot person that he's talking to turns into a giant T-Rex. And it's Grimlock!
Cool.
And Grimlock doesn't say, me, Grimlock. Sorry, everybody, if you were really wanting that. Grimlock doesn't even fucking talk.
No.
That was something a lot of people wanted to hear, was me, Grimlock. I don't even know.
Oh.
But so like he beats him. What are you gonna say, Bia?
I wanted to mention that the samurai guy only had 30 seconds of his own fighting scene.
I don't even remember him fighting.
Yeah, because my coworkers even mentioned it to me yesterday that he only fought for 30 seconds. That's it.
Yeah, and like there's like some guy with like submachine guns from Halo, like literally ripped off submachine guns from Halo. That's what they were.
Yeah.
And he did a lot more shit with that, and so they end up joining forces with the Dinobots. If you haven't figured it out yet, yeah, it's the fucking Dinobots. And so they all ride like the Transformers that are with the Autobots that are with Optimus Prime ride the Dinobots into Hong Kong.
That's fucking awesome.
It was pretty badass at this
Oh
point.
my god, this
This
is
is-
like I'm so relieved right now because I was so bored with what was happening.
Have you seen that picture of Darth Vader riding a Charizard with a lightsaber?
No.
It's kind of like that. I'll look it up.
Yeah,
later.
yeah, like Optimus has a sword and shit, and he's riding Grimlock, and
Is it like Abraham Lincoln riding a bear with a
It's-
fucking M16.
It's like that, yeah. So anyway,
This is badass.
So
art.
anyway-
this is getting cool.
what happens next is that I mean, before this, you're getting a lot of action scene in
Yeah.
from John Goodman and B. Also, when Stanley Tucci was like running away, like with his assistant, she's driving a motorcycle, right? They crashed the motorcycle on a straightaway for no apparent reason.
All right, forgive me, Tom.
What?
It's because she was a woman.
Oh my God, Brady. Stop.
No, it's because Michael Bay doesn't know how to fucking direct.
That's the real reason.
Yeah.
It was
Because-
like this.
because-
It was like this.
Oh God, that's amazing.
Because all you needed to do was find a fucking curve. Because she wrecked as if she turned too sharply. There is no reason she turned too sharply. Because let me tell you, she was more competent than half the men in this movie.
I believe
Like,
it.
she saved fucking Stanley Tucci. I don't even know what her name was. I have no idea what his assistant's name was. He
Welcome
kept...
to Transformers. There's like 3 actual named characters. I feel like, unless you know the characters from outside of the actual movies, you have no fucking clue who the Autobots actually are.
No, I'm talking about people.
Oh, them too.
Yeah, so anyway... They,
Like soldiers from the first 3 movies. Fuck were their
Tyrese
names?
Gibson?
Yeah, but what was his character's name?
I don't
Nobody
know.
knows.
I don't know. I don't fucking know either. They weren't in the movie. I was like, you know what? This movie probably could have used them.
Yeah.
But I liked them. They were fun.
You need some of the original actors.
Mm-hmm.
No, let me tell you something about this. I think that
Tom's about to drop a knowledge
I
bomb.
think that Shia LaBeouf not being in this was probably a good thing. And I'm not actually taking a crack at Shia LaBeouf's acting. I'm taking a crack at Michael Bay's directing because I think Shia LaBeouf might be more of a actor that's like really depends on how much the director directs the actor in that scenario. I think he's more dependent on what the director tells him to act. And Michael Bay is like, scream and act goofy! And with Mark Wahlberg, you don't get that as much. You get some really funny reactions from Mark Wahlberg that are like, I don't know if it was intentional or not. I really don't know. But like, you actually got better acting out of Mark Wahlberg. He's a more seasoned actor.
Mm-hmm.
Say what you will, he just did it better.
I like Mark Wahlberg.
Planet of the Apes is what I'm going to cite there. Anyway, it takes them forever to ride into Hong Kong, and it really like milked that tension that John Goodman was going to die, and like the majority of like new enemy Decepticon human versions like get wiped out just on the charge into Hong Kong, and it's pretty badass.
I don't know how they even died because they're made of that like block matter crap.
Yeah. Okay,
They
the way,
all spark.
No, because
well, they're really weird because when they transform from vehicle mode to robot mode, they literally like pixelate into thing. Like they fall apart and they restructure. I'm assuming just because the hard matter is damaged with like an energy weapon or like kinetic energy that it can't re-solidify.
I don't know, because when they were fighting like earlier, like with Optimus and Galvatron, and they like shot at Galvatron, and he just like nope, and just like got hit, but he just turned himself back into fucking Transformer again. Like he got hit.
That doesn't. I mean,
Plot armor.
he didn't get a lot of damage. Who knows? Who
Yeah,
knows? It was one of those things where I was like, I wonder how that works.
Yeah,
But
that's
it
what I was
kind of
confused.
didn't ruin my suspension of disbelief about that.
Yeah,
I
was
guess.
just questioning.
Because I was kind of like, I questioned it, and I was kind of like, what the fuck do I know about this shit? It doesn't exist. I don't know. But it gave me pause, I will say that. So, like, fucking Grimlock can breathe fire, and he's just, like, melting enemy Decepticons, and, like,
Sweet.
there's a two-headed pterodactyl Dinobot that's, like, picking them up and throw them into buildings, and Triceratops is fucking poking people, and they have Autobots on them riding and shooting and taking out them, and like that was like the main charge. They come in there just in the nick of time to like save John Goodman, just wreck the place, and they escape. They're going somewhere. They're trying to get the bomb out of the city. And about this time is when the bounty hunter the bounty hunter Transformers show up again because they figured out that Optimus got away and stole the trophy room or whatever.
Fucking trophy room.
So they start just trying to pick up shit. They just float over Hong Kong for no apparent reason, just sucking stuff up. And oh yeah, Frasier's there. Frasier's mad because he's still chasing Stanley Tucci, trying to get that seed, and he wants Optimus dead. And
Stanley Tucci's seed.
They want all of them dead.
So yeah, and for some reason their way to getting that is just start sucking up Hong Kong, we'll get it. They just start sucking up Hong Kong for no reason, just parts of it. And if it wasn't for the fact that they just so happened to be by the bridge that the Autobots had to go over to get out of the city, it wouldn't have even been a plot point. But it just so happens it was. And they Independence Day'd this shit. They're getting sucked up. At one point, everyone's getting sucked up. The seed's about to get sucked up, and all the humans are holding it down, and all the Autobots are flying and hanging onto buildings and shit, and the Dinobots are about to get sucked up, and Optimus just fires up that beam, just like Independence Day took it out, just taking it out, and
a lot of people died in this movie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'll give him this. A lot less people died than in Transformers 3 because I don't know what the fuck was going on in that movie. Because I'm there's a war zone. It's been a few days. Why are you running the streets? Why is there still a flash attack happening? You should be gone. And in this, after a little while, everybody was gone from the big robot fight. You know what I mean? So it made sense that they weren't there anymore, and that you didn't have to CGI people in there, or have extras, because they didn't need to be there. It added more to the movie to not have people running in the streets anymore because they should have been gone already. So they're still trying to get it out of the city, and most of the Autobots are on the bridge, guarding the bridge in case more of the human-made Decepticons come through. At one point, what's his goddamn name again? I'm just gonna call him Megatron. I forgot the other. Megatron is "No, you ruined my plans," and he just runs off.
Like the last two movies.
Literally, 1 and 2 is what he did. Is he ran off.
They took the exact same lines and just went with it.
So
this is boring.
Oh, but
Okay, let's hear some more
This is where it
charging into Hong Kong on the back of a fucking
This is
Dinobot.
where it picks up again because fucking the bounty hunter Transformers pisses him I'm coming after you, Optimus. He jumps out of his ship and just explodes bridges beneath him, and he lands. He's oh, I'm fighting you, and you're oh no, is Optimus gonna die again? And he's had pinned Optimus to the wall
with his own sword.
Oh yeah, and because just so happens Frasier shows up, right? And Mark Wahlberg is the only one there trying to help Optimus.
Yeah.
So Frasier pulls a gun on fucking Mark Wahlberg, and he's gonna kill him, and Optimus sees it, and Optimus had already vowed to kill the one human. He tried to not kill humans, but he was gonna kill the one human that was responsible for hunting the Autobots, and there he was. And he sees him about to kill Mark Wahlberg, and he fucking just blows him away. Optimus just what? I was yeah! Fuck you, Frasier! That's what you get!
Yeah, he's
This is what
dead.
you get, fucking Sam's girlfriend in Cheers. Well, I watched Cheers.
I watched
don't know if
Cheers.
anybody else did.
I watched Cheers. I was thinking that he dated Sam's girlfriend first. I don't know. Anyway. So yeah. He's dead, and then Mark Wahlberg is now now Optimus is against the ropes because he tried to take the time to save him.
Yeah.
And he's you betray us all. The bad Transformers you betray us all by protecting a human, and it's dude, you're not a Decepticon. You don't even care or know about humans. What are you talking about? And so at this point, Mark Wahlberg is laying down covering fire on him and shooting at him. Then B comes in there, trying to save Optimus, and then fucking Katara and the boyfriend show up, and
Things happen.
They like are in a truck that has like one of those,
Pickup truck.
not a pickup truck. It is like a tow truck, but it's not a tow truck. It has a
Has the hook.
Winch.
it has a
So it's
winch
like
on
a
it.
wrecker truck.
Yeah, like in Transformers 1. Anyway, their plan this time is to like get the sword out of Optimus so he's not pinned against the wall, and like they're driving around in this because they have too much shit with the chain. They ended up like tripping the Lockdown is his name. Lockdown is the
Oh, okay.
the hunter transformer. So they ended up like clotheslining him for a second, and they end up pulling the sword out of Optimus, and the whole fight's fucking on, and like oh yeah, it became a one-on-one fight there for a minute with Mark Wahlberg versus Lockdown.
Yeah, I don't know how that was a thing, but
Because he was one, I will give it the movie this. Mark Wahlberg was using cover. He wasn't just like like out in the open the whole time. He was like behind walls, rolling around and shit, and like almost getting blown up constantly.
Fucking boss battle?
Wasn't he on the ground and fucking Lockdown like throws the sword at him? And he's
Yeah,
like
he-
blocking it with
he-
while he's on the ground.
he-
It's like, how is he
I think
holding that force
I'm
of
not
a giant
sure.
robot with his own little, like,
Because it's Marky
human
Mark.
arms?
Do you doubt the Marky Mark?
That's what I was like. What?
What I'm not sure that there wasn't a reason, because he could have been like had the sword pinned against the ground and not using his muscles to stop it. The sword could have been doing it for him, but I don't know. So
It
he
was the camera angle.
Yeah,
that's what was making me.
it was
so-
a little
how is he
weird.
doing it?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's like he's trying to just stab him, crush him, and it's not happening. So while
because it's like a transformer weapon.
yeah, but we don't know if how he's holding it up. He could
Yeah,
be doing it
because
in his
they
arms.
did this weird angle, so you couldn't really see exactly.
Yeah, you couldn't
Right.
see how Mark Wahlberg was fending off a like 20-foot robot, and
Because it's Marky Mark.
so all of a
By the
sudden,
power of the Funky Bunch.
Optimus charges in there and just like splits Lockdown like up the middle, fucking kills him.
Like,
Damn.
And by this point they're out of the city. Like this was like in an abandoned like warehouse district this was going on in, and they set off some kind of explosion. At first I thought it was the seed, but it wasn't. The
It was
seed.
the one-
Oh,
it
it
was
was
the-
his grenades.
Yeah.
Lockdown has grenades that are like the seed.
it was the
So-
grenades that he used to kill the comedian.
Yeah. So he shoots, like, Optimus is like, Lockdown's grenades, we gotta get out of here. And, like, they set off the explosion because at that point, all of the human Transformers that were left caught up with him and bypassed all of those other Autobots on the bridge. And I don't know how, but killed all of them. And Optimus is, like, uses scramjets to get out of there with everybody on him. He's, like, carrying Mark Wahlberg, Katara, and Katara's boyfriend.
And
And
then,
escaped.
and then they land, and then Katara's like, to the boyfriend.
Oh yeah, no, that happened like right after like they pulled the sword out.
Oh.
There was this scene go on with it.
Are you still glad to be met? Or something like
It was like the way that this line is, and she like it's a really like he runs over to her and she spins around and the camera is like, 3 inches away from her face. I mean it's zoomed in, I'm assuming, but it is like right there, and she spins around really dramatically and she's like, "Are you still glad you met me?" Like what buildup was there to that?
It was like, what?
Yeah, that face.
Your face.
Yet again, I would like to reiterate that I hope that Michael Bay dies in a horrible accident.
So
Are you so glad we met?
yeah,
Because fuck that guy. Pissing on cinema.
But yeah, they're flying.
They're flying, they land, and somehow all the humans aren't shooting at them. Oh, you could see like Lockdown's ship, like drifting out to sea, kind of, and like all the Chinese jets are firing at it and shit. And it's probably gonna go down. I don't even know if there's anybody left on it.
So did they
It
win?
was kind of dumb.
Yeah, that was it. They won. That was them winning. Fucking Frazier's dead. Lockdown's dead. Stanley Tucci switched sides and
One-
became man. And they're like talking about how like, oh, my house got blown up, and Stanley Tucci's like a billionaire. He's
Matrix-
like, I think I can help with
The
that.
Matrix guy's dead. He wore the sunglasses and the long jacket. He's the one that put the gun to.
Oh yeah, I completely forgot about that fucking guy. That's how unmemorable he was.
Yeah.
So
Was it
the-
Hugo Weaving? Was it?
No. He just looked. He was a
He's-
special agent.
He was just
had no.
Keanu Reeves. He was just.
No, he was not Keanu
He
Reeves.
wasn't him, but he's doing the Matrix.
He had like a
thing.
long coat and sunglasses on, and he was like a secondary antagonist that was barely had any character
One-liners.
development. He had no character development. All you knew about him is he had a daughter that was in Chicago when there was the Decepticon attack. So he just doesn't like robots.
And one-liners.
And he ends up fighting Mark Wahlberg, and it's a really weird. I mean, the fight is actually pretty like.
Interesting.
It was like there was tension in that fight, but then it's ruined because Mark Wahlberg. You know how he defeats him? Dude pulls out a knife. Mark Wahlberg grabs a football in this Chinese person's apartment and nails the dude in the face. And when he's recovering from that football to the face, Mark Wahlberg pushes him out a window, which I guess is kind of okay because he just used what he had on hand. But the camera angle, you didn't need to see it from this. Like they clearly like used green screen to have this guy falling down. Like, so you just see this really weird angle of him falling from like straight above him.
Okay, yeah, that one.
He was, the camera was straight above him and he's falling down. And then you see an actual good version of him falling to his death from Frazier's point of view.
No,
They also did
then they did one from like you standing on like the side of the road and there's.
Yeah, that's from Frazier's point of view.
Really?
Yeah, because Frazier looks over and then you just see him like hit.
Yeah. Okay, I got confused.
And there's also scenes where they're driving in a car where you can clearly tell they're sitting in a car with a green screen behind them. So that happened.
So basically, the movie was just as mediocre as the first three.
No. Because let me tell you something. 2 gave me a headache. And let me tell you why. Because I couldn't tell who the fuck was who. In this movie, I could tell who the fuck was who. I knew who the bad guys were, and I knew who the good guys were. In 2, I was like, what is going on? Who's who? It was impossible to tell what was going on. In this one, you can actually tell who was who.
And
I guess the fight scenes were cleaner.
yeah.
And there was a long part of this movie where I was like, man, there's not as many fight scenes in this as the other movies, and then all of a sudden there just was.
And then there's a lot of flinging out of vehicles.
Oh my god, yeah. Like, there were so many times when they should have died besides that ramp out of the building. Like, they crashed how many cars? Oh, and there was when Optimus transformed with them in the car, and Mark Wahlberg and the boyfriend jump out, but Katara doesn't jump out exactly, and she goes more forward, so she rolls on the road and would have
As
been
he's
dead.
rolling. Like,
Yeah,
in the middle of his legs and shit. Like, it was
like
bad.
they jumped out into grass, and she jumped out onto the road and rolled. And there was like some part where I think B caught them in midair.
And they flew through another truck, and then
They,
B drops them.
I'm talking
and
about in Hong Kong, because that happened too. This was like, when they fell from the building, like it's when they were trying to escape the ship, that I just kind of glossed over them escaping the ship, and like B catches them in midair, and like,
Oh, he's like
he
sliding.
swings on this rope, metal anchor thing, and then catches them in the midair, crashes into a building, crashes into a building, and then like saves them by the time like still has them in the right position to have not killed them by the time he reaches the ground. And also in the time he would have grabbed them from falling, he would have killed them because of he's a giant metal robot catching you. It's
Yeah,
not good.
the same part with the whole semi part. They crash through a semi. Then B drops them as they're flying through the semi.
And then Optimus catches them.
And then somehow he catches them and almost drops them too. It was just flinging everywhere. But it was cool.
Oh yeah, and they also Lockdown lets you know why he's hunting Autobots. Finally, is that the creators of Transformers want him back. Like they want the Autobots and all the Transformers back or something like that. So that's what you saw in the beginning. Those were like the creators of Transformers. And so Optimus flies off at the end.
Flies off into the sunset.
Flies off into the fucking space. He flies off into the sunset, literally, and then into space.
Yeah.
And he's like, "This message goes out to my creators. I am coming for you."
So who's directing the fifth one?
Who do you fucking think? Michael Bay. Oh yeah, so and there's also at the end of the movie you get to see Megatron standing on a hillside being like, "Next time, Prime." So he's
Next
still.
time.
Oh, and they let the Dinobots go free, which is pretty cool. They just like go running into the into the wilderness. And they're like, "You are free, brothers!" And they just run away. And it's like, all right, cool.
They called one
Spike.
Spike. Yeah. Triceratops.
So, yeah, one of them was like, "I'll ride with you any day."
Spike. I was like, oh. But yeah, that's
The Dinobots are like, I don't know, like 40 feet tall. Like they're a lot bigger.
Yeah. They have like maces and stuff.
Yeah, they got more archaic weaponry.
It's about right.
So
That's Transformers.
I would have to say it kind of did a better job than some of the other movies, but like I don't know how. Like I know that the movies make a lot of money, but I'm still like, how do you still keep making these movies while you catch as much flack as you do? Like I know I paid money for this, but I know for as much money as you put into this, because I could tell they put a lot into this. Because of all the work that actually went into it to make it look as good as it did, and the time they did, you put a lot of money into this. Like, why can't you just do it better?
Because it's Michael Bay.
I guess I have to revert to something here, because Michael Bay is also doing the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. Maybe we
Another
shouldn't be
nail in the coffin.
taking these 80s shows that seriously. But with this, it's like with Transformers, he's trying to be serious. And with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I'm like, he can't be serious. It's a funny
Yeah.
show. It's just more funny. And Transformers is caught in this weird nexus of like, is it fun? Is it serious? I don't know. It's a show from the 80s. They didn't know what the fuck they were doing.
Yeah.
They're just
They
doing
didn't
it.
know what cartoons were then. So how do you make an adaptation like that now? I'll tell you what people wanted to see is they wanted to see something better. So are they right? Are they wrong? I have no idea. Should it be better, or is it just as good as a crappy 80s cartoon really was? Because guess what?
It's there.
I never watched Transformers. I don't have any emotional attachment to it. If I did, maybe I'd hate this movie.
Well, you know, the people who actually were watching those are like in their late 30s now.
Those were still on TV when I was a little kid.
Right, but they were reruns at that point.
Yeah, but still, a lot of people our age like them. They were a
I
big.
like
They
them.
were a big deal for a long time. Is the thing.
Yeah.
But
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles had a bigger impact on people our age, I'd say.
yeah.
I'd say that was a bigger thing.
And let me tell you, I think I'm going to take Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with a grain of salt, more than Transformers, because I think Transformers had a lot more potential to work with. So that's kind of where we're at with that.
We'll see where he goes with this next movie.
Will we?
Because there's not going to be any humans in this one.
What?
Since apparently Optimus Prime's going to go to the creators, so he's probably going to go to Cybertron or something.
Biafra, you're underestimating how much money that would cost to make that whole movie look that same way when there's no scenes to be filming it in.
You can do it.
Fuck, George Lucas did it with 3 movies.
They can
True.
do it.
Well, we hope that you've enjoyed this extreme review of Transformers for whatever age of revision.
Age of Empires.
Wait, one more thing. Michael Bay takes a crack at himself in the movie,
He does.
Yeah.
talking shit about remade movies. Was that somebody had that in there? And I'm just like, who are you trying to like fool by that?
What does he say?
Like the guy, it's like the guy that was in charge of that movie theater is talking shit about how modern Hollywood is like ruining cinema and how it's running him out of business because they keep doing like remakes and redos and sequels and prequels and like reboots. And I was like, that's what this movie literally is, and they just said it, and I don't know how. It's like Michael Bay just like being like, fuck you. I think that might have been Michael Bay's fuck you of I'm aware of what I'm doing and I don't fucking care. Look at all this goddamn money. Look at it.
Yeah.
So yeah. Hope you enjoyed this review of Transformers Age of Michael Bay. We'll see you guys on the next time.
Make sure you hit that subscribe button.
Oh yeah, subscribe button.
Oh my god, it's over.